It's Monday's edition of Weather for Weather Geeks on December the 29th. I have Mike Joyce here back in the house
Hello.
on another Monday. Mike, the weekend, we were visiting family on Saturday. We had the dog outside all afternoon. I had no coat on. It was in the 50s. It was just amazing
I
on
know.
Saturday.
Before coming in, I got the grill out. I grilled burgers. I liked it.
I liked it too. There's a lot of people around here who rely on snow and cold for their business.
Right.
Plow truck operators and that sort of thing,
Hmm.
who are just dying for some snow.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some, believe us. Winter is far from over. But certainly December is going to go in the record books as a warm and snow-free month. What are we in second place?
Second place.
For the least amount of snow in December. We've
Hmm.
had less than an inch. And I think, the month is going to end at that same number. I mean, we might get a flurry, I suppose, Wednesday on New Year's Eve, but no accumulating snow before the end of the year. Earlier today, we had some sun. That was nice, but, it's Northeast Ohio and Western PA in December, and when the clouds want to win, they're going to win most of the time. So it's turned out to be a pretty cloudy day, and temperatures aren't moving much as a result. These are the 2 o'clock hour temperatures: 31 Youngstown Warren Airport, 32 Newcastle, and 32 over towards Akron, Canton. You do find some sun in northwest Ohio this afternoon. It's not helping them much in the temperature department, though. So we look across the country this afternoon. We take off the temperatures briefly. There's not a lot of barn burners on the map. Some rain down in the southeast. There's some snow causing some travel difficulties out towards the Denver area. But the west is going to be where most of the action is coming up this week. Temperatures are also a story across the country. Not necessarily, that's not what I wanted. Not necessarily here, of course, where it's just kind of ho-hum, but look at all the cold up here. It was 25 below zero this morning up in the prairies of Canada.
At least we're not dealing with that.
Exactly. But Arctic air is getting back on the playing field for the first time in a while after a very warm stretch taking us back through December.
Hmm.
And while this air mass is going to modify, it is going to influence our weather as we head towards midweek. We have highs in the 20s for at least, one day?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So, in a modified form, this air mass is coming our way. But the heart of the cold is actually going to be aimed out here across the Rockies, across the plains, and even into the southwest, where, yes, they are going to be dealing with some snow. I wanted to show you quickly the NAM model snow here over the next couple of days. And you may have heard on weather blogs or even on the national news how some pretty unusual places are going to be getting some snow, it looks like, this week. Las Vegas, not just in the mountains, but even on the Strip in Vegas, some light amounts of snow. Now, this won't be more than 1, 2, maybe 3 inches, but still, it's kind of like it's snowing down in Atlanta. They don't have the infrastructure to remove snow in downtown Las Vegas. So that'll be a big deal for a lot of tourists who are out there for New Year's. Some higher amounts of snow out here, northern Arizona, and yes, even the mountains of Southern California. There are winter storm watches out up above about 2,000 feet in the mountains outside of Los Angeles for some snow over the next few days. Look at all the snow depth out here in the west compared to the east. It is barren here in the east as far as our snow depth over the next few days, and it's probably not going to change much probably through the weekend. We'll talk about the weekend in just a second, but if you're wishing for snow, unfortunately for you, this is not necessarily a forecast you're really going to like heading out through time. We've got a couple of things to watch out for. We mentioned how on New Year's Eve, with the arrival of the colder air, there might be a flurry. This is the GFS model Wednesday afternoon, a little bit of lake enhancement here, and especially north of Interstate 80, I suppose.
Right.
You might see a flurry or something, and there might even be some small accumulations of snow up in the snow belts, but don't really think this will be a big deal. But it will turn colder for New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day we have a high of 30-ish?
30, yeah.
Yeah. So a below average day, but not by much. Nothing unusual for the first day of the year. It's going to be a breezy day, but there's not much going on through the end of the week, all thanks to sprawling area of high pressure, which right now is centered out here across southwestern Canada. Look at this 1050 millibar high nosing down with that Arctic air, and that high is just going to be a kind of a sprawling feature this week, keeping most of the country pretty tranquil with the exception of out here in the southwest, where the weather will definitely get interesting. But our weather kind of ho-hum through the end of the week. Now, as we head into the weekend, this is when the models are playing some games. Here's Saturday afternoon. We have high pressure over New England. Whoops. Let's go back to Saturday afternoon. High pressure over New England, providing a somewhat cold air mass for the Northeast, and some moisture is heading our way. This is actually that southwestern system making its way all the way across the country and perhaps influencing our weather this weekend. And the GFS model, which I'm showing you here, would suggest, if taken literally, that late in the day Saturday we might have some sort of a mix, but then as the warm air gets involved, it'll change over to rain later Saturday night and heading into Sunday. Pretty strong looking storm here on the GFS, but mostly rain for us. Maybe some mixing initially, but mostly rain. Now the European model is kind of a ho-hum situation where it tracks way off to the south like this, and we hardly see anything over the weekend. So, we'll be taking a look at those models this afternoon. But at this point, Mike, I would say that either it's going to be a mostly rain event or a non-event this weekend. It does not look like either solution would paint a snowy scenario for us in eastern Ohio and western PA. If the European were to be more right, but if we were to track a little farther north than the European, then we might start talking about some snow chances this weekend. But right now, the European is far enough south that it's a miss. The GFS is so far north and west, it drags in the warm air and it rains. So right now, either solution does not result in much snow for us. 16-day temperatures here. It's kind of a roller coaster ride again. Now, again, we're going to turn colder for midweek. GFS Ensemble would say only 23 for a high on New Year's Eve. So that's pretty cold, but then we do warm up. It rains as we head into the weekend. Beyond that, pretty consistently cold signal for the middle of the month. Not super cold, not the kind of cold we had last January, where it was in the teens by day and 10 to 20 below at night. If you remember last January, we had, what was our coldest morning? It was 12 below or something like that.
Yeah, 12 below.
But for a while, we were thinking we might challenge those records of 22 below. We thought that might be possible, but I think we bottomed out at 12 below during that cold January last year. This year, it's not shaping up like that, but yes, it will probably be colder than average a little more consistently as we head towards mid-month. And some of the real long-range indices would suggest that winter's going to come back with a vengeance in the second half of January, heading into February. Now, does it make up for lost time enough that we end up above average in terms of snow? Well, we're not sure about that. But Mike, we worked on our winter forecast, put it out in late October, and it suggested that it would be colder than average and snowier than average, but not as harsh as last year. And I still think we have a chance of that forecast working out all right. It may just be more weighted towards the second half of the winter than certainly the front half, which so far has been a bit of a dud, with the exception of November. November was pretty cold and snowy, but December has not been cold and snowy at all. We're going to finish December probably around 5 above average for the month, and that's a pretty significant number for 1 month. So it's been a December to not remember if you're wishing for snow. That's today's weather for Weather Geeks. Thank you for watching once again, everyone. Be sure to check out Mike's forecasts on the weekends and on Monday middays, most Mondays. And you can, of course, follow him on social media as well. And I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.